Hey there, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here today because we're going to discuss something that could have a significant impact on your family's finances, and it might just surprise you how much it could help. We're diving into a new proposal by Vice President Kamala Harris that could bring some major changes to the child tax credit, introduce new housing tax incentives, and potentially lower prices on essentials like groceries and prescription drugs for families across the country. Now, you might have heard about the child tax credit before, especially when it was expanded during the pandemic. It provided much-needed relief to millions of families at a time when they really needed it. But what you may not know is that Vice President Harris has proposed taking that even further. Imagine a situation where, during your child's first year, a time when expenses seem to pile up endlessly, you could receive up to $6,000 in tax relief. Yes, you heard that right, $6,000. This could be a game changer for many families. Just think about all the costs that come with welcoming a new baby into your home: cribs, diapers, car seats, baby clothes. It all adds up so quickly. Having that kind of support during such a financially stressful time could make a world of difference, don't you think? And this isn't just a one-size-fits-all proposal. It's designed to specifically help middle and low-income families, the ones who often feel the pinch the most. What's really exciting about this expansion is that it's more than just a continuation of what we saw during the pandemic. It's an evolution, a step forward, in making sure that families have what they need when they need it the most. So then, how does this expanded child tax credit work? The proposal suggests increasing the amount of tax credit from the previous $3,600 per child, which was already quite helpful, to as much as $6,000 in relief for the first year of your child's life. This increase would be a direct response to the reality that the first year of parenting is often the most expensive, with costs coming in all directions. And it's not just about diapers and formula, there's also childcare, medical expenses, and all those unexpected little things that add up over time. Now, let's talk about something else that's really important: housing. If you've been paying any attention to the housing market lately, you've probably noticed that prices are, well, kind of through the roof. Whether you're renting or looking to buy your first home, it feels like there are fewer and fewer options that don't completely drain your savings. But here's where Vice President Harris's proposal really shines. She's calling for the construction of 3 million new housing units over the next 4 years. That's a big number, and it's targeted specifically at creating more affordable housing options. The idea is to not only increase the supply of homes, but also to make sure that these homes are within reach for people who might otherwise struggle to get into the housing market. This could be a game changer for first-time buyers, especially those who are finding it difficult to save up for a down payment while also paying rent. Now, how does this actually work? The proposal includes new tax incentives aimed at encouraging builders to construct what we often call starter homes. These are homes that are typically smaller and less expensive than the average house, designed to be affordable for first-time buyers. The idea is that by lowering the tax liability for builders, it becomes more financially attractive for them to build these kinds of homes, which in turn increases the supply of affordable housing on the market. But it doesn't stop there. The proposal also includes a plan to help renters transition into homeownership. If you've been renting and paying on time for the last 2 years, you might qualify for up to $25,000 in down payment assistance when you decide to buy your first home. Could be the difference between continuing to rent and finally owning your own home. It's designed to help people who are already showing that they're financially responsible by paying their rent on time, but who might still struggle to save enough for a down payment because of high rent and other expenses. This kind of support could make owning a home a reality for so many people who've been dreaming about it but haven't been able to make it happen yet. So, what does all this mean for you and your family? Well, it's not just about tax credits and housing. Vice President Harris is also tackling something that's been on everyone's mind lately: rising prices. It seems like everything is getting more expensive these days, from groceries to prescription drugs, and it's putting a real strain on family budgets. That's why our plan includes measures to tackle what some are calling corporate price gouging. This is when companies raise prices beyond what's necessary to cover costs, just to increase their profits. And it's especially frustrating when it happens with things that people need every day, like food and medicine. The proposal would set up new regulations to prevent this kind of price gouging, particularly in the grocery and pharmaceutical industries. This could lead to lower costs at the checkout line and even at the pharmacy. Imagine not having to worry as much about whether you're getting the best deal on your weekly groceries or your monthly prescriptions. It's all about making life a little bit easier and more affordable, especially for those who are already stretched thin. Now, I know what you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but how likely is it to actually happen? Well, like any big policy change, it'll need to pass through Congress, and there might be some debate along the way. There are always challenges when it comes to getting new legislation passed, especially when it involves changes to the tax code or introducing new regulations. But it's encouraging to see a clear focus on the needs of families and making sure that support is available where it's needed most. And, speaking of Congress, it's important to note that these proposals will require their approval before they can become law. This means that the outcome will depend a lot on what happens in the upcoming elections and which party controls the House and Senate. It's a reminder of how much our votes can impact the kinds of policies that get passed and how those policies affect our everyday lives. So, what's next for you? If these proposals catch your interest, it might be a good idea to stay informed and even get involved in the conversation. Whether that's by reaching out to your representatives, joining a community discussion, or just staying up to date with what's happening in the news, every little bit helps. And if this does become reality, it could mean some significant changes for your financial situation. One thing to keep in mind is that these kinds of proposals don't just happen overnight. It's a process, and it's one that involves a lot of negotiation and debate. But the fact that these ideas are being put forward is a positive sign that there's a focus on helping families who are struggling with the rising cost of living. It's about making sure that everyone has a fair shot at financial stability and that the system works for all of us, not just for a select few. So then, let's talk about what you can do in the meantime. First, if you're a parent or planning to become one soon, it might be worth looking into how the current child tax credit works and what changes might be on the horizon. Even if the proposed expansion doesn't happen right away, understanding the benefits that are already available could help you make the most of what's out there. Second, if you're renting and thinking about buying a home, now might be a good time to start saving and planning for that possibility. The proposed down payment assistance could be a huge help, but it's always a good idea to be as prepared as possible. This might mean creating a budget, cutting back on unnecessary expenses, or even looking into first-time homebuyer programs that could offer additional support. And third, when it comes to rising prices, one of the best things you can do is stay informed and be a smart shopper. This might mean comparing prices, using coupons, or buying in bulk when it makes sense. It's also worth keeping an eye on any changes in regulations that could impact prices, so you're not caught off guard by unexpected increases. Thanks for sticking around today. If you found this information helpful, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, let's chat about it. And, of course, don't forget to share this with anyone you think might benefit from a little extra insight into what could be coming down the road for families across the country. Until next time, take care and keep making those smart financial moves.